No, you've got a fly on your hand.
Do
No
I?
way.
Yeah.
Good catch.
It's Pence.
Yeah, totally. No,
Let me see.
he's
Gone?
gone now.
Okay.
He's gone now.
That's a clip right there.
Yeah, totally. I can.
Welcome back to the Strongest Deal podcast. I'm your host, Ross Brown. On my lovely left, I have...
I'm Katrina McLeod.
And hailing all the way from Ontario, we have...
Michelle Rafferty.
And as a very special guest on the podcast today, hailing all the way from Burnaby, we have our very own Secretary Treasurer, Brother Michael Phillips. Welcome
Hello.
aboard.
Hi. Nice to be here.
Okay. Well, I've got to start off the questions straight up. What does the Secretary Treasurer do?
Well, my main role is financial, so that's the core of what I do. I'm kind of like the main...
Looking after the money, right?
Yeah, well, supposed to be, yeah. I try.
Oh, hold up.
I try.
Supposed to be looking after the money?
On paper, that's what it says I'm doing.
Okay.
So yeah, basically the kind of main financial officer at the union office. So making
Right on.
sure that we're putting the money away, not spending more than we need to, making sure that all of our expenses are properly authorized, right?
Okay.
Signing the checks and all that stuff. So that's kind of the core of what I do. But how it ends up working is I kind of handle the technical side of making the union run, right? So like, obviously
Okay.
Donna is the president of the local. She sets the direction. She has the vision. Pierre Luc is her kind of deputy as vice president and, is helping her out and doing his own thing with, running the local rep grievance arbitration side of things. I kind of handle the technical stuff. So making sure that our communications are working properly, making sure that our staff have what they need. The clerical staff report to me.
Hold up. So we did have this discussion last time on the podcast is what clerical staff actually means, because Michelle was telling us that clerical staff is her kind of division. Now this is different to what their job is, right? Clerical.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got clerical staff in the office
Right.
that are they're considered administrative assistants. So they do our typing. They send correspondence on our behalf to the company.
Right.
You call up the union office and you get one of them.
And they're paid from the local. They're
Yeah,
paid staff.
exactly.
Right. Got
Yeah.
it. All right.
Yeah, full-time employees at the local. So they roll up to me. And basically just anything that is of a sort of administrative nature, making sure that the meeting notices are going out properly, making sure that the units are obeying our rules, our bylaws, making sure that I do the minutes for our executive board meetings, all that kind of technical administrative stuff. That's sort of my end of things. So, but I am one of the 3 table officers. So together we collectively, run the local day to day, but my kind of side of that is the more admin kind of side of things.
So you really have to have your finger on the pulse of just about everything.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So
He did have a full head of hair when he first started.
Yeah,
the job.
exactly. Yeah, in a given day, there's sort of 20, 30 little small tasks that I end up running around having to do. So yeah, that's a good way of putting it, for sure.
So one thing I always get, and people ask me questions all the time. Michelle will tell you, we always get questions about this. Actually, Michelle, you guys over in the East, I understand that you guys don't actually have the same pension. Like we don't all have the same pension plan, which I find a little bit, talk about inequity. I mean, but so what do you guys have over there? Is it the same or is it different?
No, it's different. We have the defined contribution plan. But I know that you guys in the West have like this amazing baller friggin'
The baller plan? Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called the baller plan.
Yeah.
the baller plan.
That's why it's DB.
Yeah.
DB stands for
Defined
the
baller.
baller. Defined baller plan.
No, but really, like, what is the difference?
Yeah, so in BC, we've got the Telecommunication Workers Pension Plan, the TWPP, and it's a defined benefit pension plan rather than a defined contribution pension plan. Most pension plans nowadays are defined contribution, and that it's not as good as defined benefit.
Okay.
For a defined contribution, it's like you've got your own. It's kind of like a group RRSP where all the money is getting pooled and invested, in a big group, but you've got your earmarked amount of money that is going up, going down. It's kind of like having your own savings account.
So it's like when you go to the bank and they say, "Oh yeah, we'll start an RRSP for you," and then they invest it in a group of RRSPs altogether. So it's the same thing as like you'd go to a bank.
Yeah,
but it's managed.
But the key thing is that it's kind of like you've got your own personal account with a dollar amount on it that goes up, goes down. And if like maybe when you retire, you're going to live till you're 100, and you weren't counting on that, and you run out of money.
Right.
Or, because of the stock market going up or down, you really don't have a clear idea of how much money you're going to have when you retire. The benefit of a defined benefit plan is all that money gets pooled together in one giant fund. And the deal is, rather than you having a certain dollar amount at any given time that goes up and down, the plan just promises you a certain amount of benefit when you retire. You can actually plan way ahead of time, knowing that you're going to have a certain amount of money when you retire, and the plan is promising you that. And so at a minimum, or it could even be better than that. And so some people live till they're 100, and kind of the plan loses money off of them because
they keep being paid the same amount every month until you die.
Well, that's lovely. I don't have to plan to die by a certain age.
That's
My money's
exactly
going to
right.
run out.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Michelle, do you have a death plan that you have organized for yourself then?
I'm pretty much just banking on my kids being successful and letting me live with them. Because anytime I go in to see like how my contributions or whatever are doing, and you pick like, okay, I want to retire by the time I'm like 55 or 60 or whatever, it might as well just say, keep dreaming, lady, because I am not even like, I'm in the red forever.
Oh.
So I'm just kind of banking on the kids.
That's why we have kids though, right? Like, okay,
That's
so
right.
one of you's got to be some sort of rock star. One of you's got to be a sports personality.
Exactly.
You better hurry
And my
up.
son's in school for nursing, right? And so
Perfect.
I told him, I'm like, you're going to buy some land and you're going to build mama a little tiny home, and I'll be super happy.
So you got your little retirement home already set up. It's going to have
do.
ramps everywhere, so for your wheelchair.
Sounds like a nice plan.
That's actually not bad, actually. Yeah, it's a good plan.
Maybe I got to start pumping out some babies.
You're thinking about having babies now?
Well, I mean,
Yeah, but you have
to
a
plan for the
defined,
future,
you have a defined baller plan.
that's true. That's true.
You have the baller plan.
So I don't need to worry.
You don't have to worry about having kids. How is the
think
plan
what
doing? Like
matters.
in terms of, like, is it well funded?
Oh, yeah.
It's financially stable.
Yeah. So we track a statistic called the funded ratio, funded status, basically, but it's like a percentage of comparing the assets of the fund to the liabilities that it's going to eventually have to pay out, and that metric is at 128%. So you guys probably hear in the headlines once in a while pensions that can't make their payments, benefits having to be reduced. You hear companies saying we can't afford this pension plan, we have to cut back. And it's getting out of control and all that. Well, we're in the opposite situation. So we've got 128% funding. We're in a very comfortable position to not only meet our promised benefits, but to actually occasionally, as we do, up the amount of benefits that can be provided, even beyond the promised benefit. Yeah.
Right on.
So I have a difficult question to ask. And I'm going to ask it on behalf of Eastern brothers and sisters. And the question is, this sounds like a fucking great plan. I got to say, it sounds amazing. I'm glad I'm in BC. I'm looking forward to it. As soon as I get to 55, I'm gone. I'm going out of the planet. I'm going to take off into the sunset and retire.
Right? I guess I'll live a while.
Well, that's
Might as
my
well.
hope, right? That's my hope. But there is an inequity here, right? So the BC plan is obviously very well funded. What would it take, or do you ever foresee a future where we can get this plan nationwide so that every brother and sister has that kind of thing?
Yeah,
is that a possibility? What do you think?
That's always been an aspiration. The company's got different ideas. Like the company actually contributes 10% of BC workers' wages to the plan, and that's
That's a huge. That seems like a lot.
it's a good deal for us, right? They would
Yeah.
rather not, probably, and they have in the past come to the bargaining table to try to reduce that amount, right? So sure, we would love to expand this plan across the country for equity purposes and just to provide more security for folks in their retirement.
Right.
The company probably has different ideas. They've expressed that in the past. Workers contribute some of their salary, and the company does as well, to a higher degree than in the Eastern DC defined contribution plans. And yeah, they're not thrilled with that. So it would be wonderful to expand this plan out to the East, but it's a bargaining issue like so many other bargaining issues, which isn't to say that it's going to be on the table this time. I don't know whether it will be or not, but it depends on our bargaining power. Like it's like so many other issues. The stronger we are, the more solid we are, the more we can try to get our way
Yep.
at
Amen.
the table and elsewhere. And it would be something quite wonderful for our Eastern folks to transition from a DC plan to a DB plan. Usually what happens is employers try to move their DB plan to a more affordable DC plan. And when I say DB is defined benefit and DC is defined contribution, they don't actually run our TWPP the way that most of the pensions that you read about in the paper, the company says, oh, we have to cut contributions because they run those plans. This is actually a plan that the union started, the TWPP.
Right.
So
a little bit of history there for everybody.
Yeah.
Because it's run by, it's probably so successful because it's run by union people, right?
Yeah.
It's not exclusively run though. I understand there's like a trustee partnership type thing that goes on, right?
So the union initiated the creation of the pension plan in the 70s, but it is a jointly trusteed pension plan. So there's 4 union trustees and there's 4 company trustees. So we collectively make those decisions, but it's not like the DC defined contribution plans in the East. They're just company run. So the company can make changes.
So they can decide where it goes. They can decide what they invest in.
Yeah, exactly. Where
so that could be, we're going to invest in ourselves. Or we're going to invest in...
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I don't really follow the DC plan investments because the union's not really involved there.
Yikes.
But the DB plan, we make sure that we invest ethically. We have a very large investment in a company that we helped create called Concert Properties, and folks that live around the Lower Mainland may have seen billboards for Concert Properties developments, right? It's a very large, successful development company that we helped create, and they use union labor wherever possible. They have very progressive work practices. So we try to mobilize members' money in a way that's going to be ethical, that helps build our communities, helps build housing. That was actually a part of the original Concert mandate, was to focus on rental housing, and they still do that. They're one of the only developers that consistently builds rental housing in Vancouver and in the Lower Mainland. Because you don't hear that very often. It's all condos, right?
And we are desperately in need
There is a
for...
rental shortage, and
Absolutely.
the price of rentals is unaffordable. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I hear the only way it's going to go down is by building more. And if no one's building anything, but that's good to know that that is a good bit of history that I don't think a lot of people understand or know.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And to know that it started so long ago and it had socialism. I say socialism at its heart, but it makes you feel good. It makes you feel good that they're putting money into local communities instead of investing in the he who should not be named.
It does. And you know what else is, if they are dedicating whatever percentage it is, as much as possible, to union workers, you know that the work is being done well.
Yeah.
You're not getting... If you're having people who are getting paid well, they're getting taken care of.
The lowest bidder, right?
And they're not going to be the lowest bidder. They're not going to be cutting corners. It's not going to be shoddy things that are going up, that are not insulated properly, that are not built properly, that are, you know what I mean? You see these ones going up. I go into a lot of buildings. A lot.
Really?
All the new ones. I see it all, and I see the craftsmanship, and I see the things that start to fall apart really, really quickly when you cut those corners.
Yeah, and you company builds its reputation for quality or lack of quality over decades, because it takes a while for stuff to break down in a road, right? So you can always just make a buck by building something cheap, but if you intend to be around for decade after decade, like Concert has, just using that example,
a good one.
they've been around since the 80s. So the pension plan has been around since the 70s, but then Concert was created in conjunction with that plan in the 80s. And they've had a great reputation for exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. If you have union labor, if you have kind of stable funding through it's several pension plans actually came together to create Concert. That's why it's called Concert. A bunch of folks came together in concert to create this company.
Well, there you go.
but we initiated it as a TWU at the time, Telecommunication Workers Union, right? And when you have that kind of stable funding, you're not trying to cut corners. You're not just looking to maximize your profit in this year to pay your bills. Like, you've got a stable position in the market to be able to actually be a high quality, not corner cutter kind of development company. And so, yeah, we should be proud of that. Yeah. It's socially progressive. It's been a very good investment for the plan. Very good. And
certainly paying off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and we have folks on the board at Concert. The plan, because it's such a large investor in Concert, we actually have directors. Like, we've have the ability to appoint directors of that company.
So how does that help us? So you get a director position on the board, but why does that help? Because then you get to manage where they spend their money, how they spend their money.
Yeah, you make sure that they're doing things in the way that meets the plan's priorities. So, that they're stable, that they're not taking too many risks, that they continue to act ethically, right? Like, any other company could just decide, what, non-union labor is cheaper. We're just going to change our policy away from union to non-union. Well, the majority of the folks running Concert at the board of directors are union appointees.
Right. There you go.
So they can't do that, right? And actually, our plan owns 49% of Concert, like 49% of Concert shares. So we're not going to allow any kind of socially regressive change at that company, right? So that's the advantage to having folks on the board of directors, and to own that amount of shares. We can make sure that the company makes money for retirees, essentially, is how it ends up working. And at the same time, make sure that they're socially progressive and really building up the communities that they work in, or that they develop in.
Well, hot damn.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have thought, putting people in charge of, or union people in charge of a union, a company, would have a social benefit for people.
It just sounds so great, right? You're making money, you're making jobs, you're making houses.
And it really boils, you're absolutely right. And it boils down to, I'm sure it is a for-profit organization. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It is. Okay. So its primary purpose is to make money. But it doesn't feel like that is the only purpose.
Well, but hold on, making money for retirees, right?
Exactly.
These plans own the shares, so it's not like we're talking about some rich people owning shares in some,
not the mega rich.
I needed a second yacht.
Yeah, exactly. So when you say it's for profit, yes, it's for profit, but those profits go to our members. They go to retirees, folks that are members of the plans that own that company, right? So, yeah.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah, no, it's worked out really well.
US dub. Let's hear it.
I'm jealous.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so sorry, Michelle.
I'm moving.
Well, here's the thing. I think the collective agreement says even if you move, oh, sorry, too bad. That's what they say in the collective agreement. It does. If you move from BC to the East, it follows suit. So if you move, the pension follows you. But because this question got asked to me, somebody moved to Calgary. I think it was your buddy, Jesse.
Shout out Jesse.
Shout out Jesse.
Excellent worker, excellent mentor. He's done a lot of the facilitating, teaching. He's a real nice guy. He took his family out to Alberta, Calgary, Red Deer area. I hope he's doing well.
You better be listening.
Some good Jessies out there.
Yeah. Well, he was very involved in the union, actually. He was I think our Secretary Treasurer of our local. So I might be stepping into that role, but big shoes to fill.
And you should. It's not as hard as you think. And there's a beautiful manual that I think, did you make that manual, the Secretary's manual?
Well, I wrote the draft and then it got approved with some changes. But
okay. I got to say something then, okay? Hopefully this stays in, might get cut. We had, so you got the manuals too, Michelle, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have them with you, do you? Just to show people what they look like? She's like, look at the bookshelf. Oh, I got them right here. Okay, show us. Because we got two versions of these. Yeah. We got the version from 2 years ago and then the last year's version.
Yeah.
And they're pretty much the
I
same.
just have the unit chair one up here.
Oh, because you're
But
the
I
chair.
have, yeah. But the other one is pink.
So what color is
The
that?
secretary one.
The secretary's one's pink, you say?
Yeah.
And that one's a green color, I see.
Yeah.
And so
Fancy.
it changed color from the last one, which was a blue one. But the secretary's one, also pink. So for 2 versions, we've had a pink cover for our secretary.
Does that
Is it
have
kind
any
of trying to
relevance?
say yes? Are you trying to say something there?
we've had some feedback on that. So our clerical staff that I was talking about earlier
Yeah.
said, "Hey, what colors do you want these manuals to be?" And I said, "Whatever, you pick the color." So
Okay.
Yeah, pass that buck. It wasn't me.
This is
I
a
didn't
true
pick this.
story. So I did not even, really care or notice, the colors. But yeah, when someone mentioned that, like, why do you have like baby boy blue for the unit chair
Yeah.
That's
and like pink for the secretary? What are you trying to say? Yeah, okay.
Subliminally trying to tell us.
Yeah.
You're like,
I mean-
those are just the colors of papers we had.
Yeah.
Should be gold, really.
So I thought it was kind
Bold.
of, I thought it was kind
foil.
of funny and a bit of a joke. But then I realized, you know what? If we're issuing another version, let's change.
They'll
the color.
all be black or
Yeah.
white.
Exactly.
Just white paper
I feel
from
like
now on.
purple's pretty neutral. I don't know. What do you think, Michelle?
Sorry.
She was having a little cough there.
I know.
Green.
I love the green. I think the green's great.
Mhm.
Purple, super neutral too.
Yeah.
Just like your background.
But I liked what Tyler said. Just do it in gold foil.
Yeah.
Gold
For treasure.
foil.
Ultra
Oh,
fancy.
yeah.
Everybody's
right.
gonna be selling off covers.
Yeah.
Just make it, what's that? Layered gold
Yeah,
plated.
right.
Yeah. And then you'd have people itching to get the job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, I kind of ran out the door this morning. I wasn't entirely prepared. And so I'm really grateful that you brought this sweet swag, man. Like, look at
Ooh.
this hoodie. I'm so stoked. And it's a nice fit. The stitching's quality.
I feel like
say.
you're on one of those shopping channels right now. You're like, "Ooh, look at this channel."
Hey, you know what? I got into that for a while when I was like working out of town and there's nothing on at the end of the night and you kind of tune into those. I might have bought a couple products, but you know what? You don't have
Shake
to
weight.
tune into that, folks.
Mm.
You can go straight to usw1944.ca to buy your swag.
Mhm.
Well, that's a good point.
It's union made quality stuff, right?
Canadian
made in
made.
Canada. Yeah.
Yeah, made in Canada.
Oh.
And in fact, I will say this: I've had a union T-shirt, not this one, because this one's brand new, by the way, brand new design.
Mm.
But I bought a union T-shirt at a convention. Got to be like 5-6 years ago. It was the last one that we did in Toronto, and I bought it there, and I've still got the same T-shirt, and it is one of the only T-shirts because my wife likes Old Navy. She likes to buy stuff at Old Navy, and so. It's the only T-shirt that hasn't pilled, it hasn't
Oh, yeah.
warped, it hasn't shrunk, or
Yeah.
I mean, I've shrunk. Or the other way. I've grown a lot. But it still fit. And I'm saying it's still quality. Like it is very, very well made.
Yeah. Well, stuff made in Canada is quality, right? So,
Absolutely.
So yeah,
There's
it's another
there's your
example.
tagline.
It's another example of when you try to do the right thing, good things happen, right?
I want to know where you get this from because I've wanted a zip-up hoodie for the longest time and I've yet to find one.
Oh yeah, this was District 6 convention a few years ago in
okay.
Collingwood, and they gave everybody one of these. Yeah, it's kind of sharp with the little yellow tassels or
tags.
whatever.
Yeah,
you
that
call
looks good.
Yeah,
Michael, I have a question for you.
go ahead.
I know you've been Secretary Treasurer for a long time now and you're super good at it. Do you enjoy what you do?
Yeah, I do. I do. I mean, I even enjoyed working on the phones at TELUS. I was an operator in competitive operator services, but it is nice to be able to dedicate all my time all day long. I don't know, on the weekend to helping members in whatever way we can. So, sometimes at work you have like a reward, and I'm talking about at TELUS, you have a rewarding call or, you felt like you really helped somebody, but then other times you kind of get ground down and you kind of wonder what am I doing this for, especially when you're mistreated by the company. Where at, working for the union, it's, even though it can be stressful, it's rewarding all day long because you know that you're entirely dedicated, your whole work product is to assist your brothers and sisters in the union, help them have a fair shake at work, help get them more dignity and respect in their workplace, right? And we're all, especially in a bargaining year, working towards the same goal, trying to get a better, more solid, more equitable collective agreement for everybody. And it's just nice to be able to have that as your vocation, like, right? To have that as what you're dedicating your talent to, right?
That's a full-time job. I'm going to spend my time
Yeah.
helping others,
Yeah.
essentially.
It's not like you've got the company that's kind of exploiting some talent of yours for just like, profit or like one thing that really annoys me is the fact that IR folks are expected to sell like crazy when they go into
We
go
were
into-
talking about that, weren't we?
into the home. And so it's like, sometimes the company will take something that you're good at and try to exploit it for money, right? The trust, the kind of bond between an INR person and the customer ends up getting just sort of tapped for profit, right?
Yeah,
And-
there's a certain reputation that INR or technicians in general have earned over many years. Like you said, from the 40s, 44 all the way through, people have come to expect. And yeah, it does feel like they're kind of trading on that expertise now to kind of get you in the door, and then they're bait and switching into something like, I mean, you'll know more than most because I worked in network, but Kat actually works for INR
Out there in the trenches.
Yeah.
in the fields.
Yeah. I mean,
do you like the sales? Is that something that bothers you? Is it just something that's tacked
you know
on?
what? I do my best because it is a requirement of my job, but I do it. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Fairly, like I really am not gonna. I don't feel comfortable selling someone something they don't need.
Ah, right. That's the difference, right?
And some people, I'm sure they feel the pressure and they will go that little extra mile. Maybe to this person that doesn't really need a product, they're gonna pitch it anyway. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it does work out where you go there and they're like, oh, you know what? I needed this other thing too. Could you help me with that as well? And then I feel good about, being able to process that.
Because it's part of fixing something, though.
Because
Yeah.
it's part of fixing
Yeah.
something.
They had a need and a want.
But-
What were you going to say, Michelle?
Well, we get that all the time, right? Where people will call in and they were sent a product that they didn't want, right? And they all of a sudden have this massive bill because they haven't realized that they've been paying for this service that they're now in a contract for a few years, right? And they're like, but I didn't want this. Like, I didn't need it. And I think when for years and years and years, we were very focused on giving world-class customer service,
Yeah,
right? Like that was our jam.
That was the
like
primary thing.
Customers
right?
first.
Yeah. Like you pay a little bit more with the company, right, for your services, but you are getting a world-class, customer service feel from start to finish. Whereas now it's like that doesn't even matter anymore. It's just like, let's get this stuff sold to these people. And to me, like, I feel like after 14 years in the same position, like I'm good at my job. Like I am good at saving customers. I'm good at helping them with what they need, good at customer service. But I morally have huge issues with sales and selling to people who say they can't pay their bills.
Well,
Yeah, I get in trouble all the time, right? But I just won't do it. I'm like, me as a person, I cannot do that because that is an awful feeling, right? And to pile on more services that they still can't pay for. Maybe they're saving like
gosh.
1% on their home insurance or whatever. That's not enough.
Yeah.
And like you hit the nail on the head there, like the customer service thing, right? Two models to bring attention to here. Costco. And I'll say that right off the bat. Everybody loves Costco. Who doesn't love Costco, right?
I quite like it.
Well, you love Costco coffee.
I
know that
love
much.
their coffee.
But here's the thing: is like it's returnable. Their customer. I mean, if you're walking around the store, their customer service is not so good, but they're reliable. Their customer service is great, and their products are more. They're just as cheap at Walmart. But why do people prefer Costco over Walmart? And they pay for the privilege of going to Costco. And it's because their customer service is so much more different. I know it's reliable. I know I can go in and I can return something whenever I want to. I love Costco, but
It's
I mean,
great.
that is the difference. I mean, you could say that you could argue the same that any product, you could be mediocre as long as the customer service is there.
I've got a funny story actually about Costco. My old boss was telling us he got an angry call from his wife from Costco. She was like, you could have at least cleaned out the barbecue for me. He's like, what are you talking about?
What?
She's like, the barbecue that I had to take back. She said they took it back, but it was just full of crap. That was brutal. He was like, that was there on the side of the house to go to the dump.
Oh my God.
Then they still took it back.
Truly, they take everything back. There's your prime example.
I heard about somebody taking back a Christmas tree after
Oh, no.
Christmas.
So funny.
I'd be so sad if they got rid of my Costco.
You could talk nice to me and I might like shop for you.
Oh, I see. I like going in, just looking through the aisles and looking at all the stuff I'm not going to buy.
Totally.
Really? I get in and I get out.
Hmm.
I miss the samples. That's what I like.
Yeah. Samples were always so
I'm
good.
getting the meat, I'm getting the cheese, I'm getting the coffee, I might get some cat food, and then I'm like, see ya.
Yeah.
No
Costco's the
ice
kind of
cream?
place where you have to have a car in order to go there and to use it properly. I don't have a car. I have a bike. So I've been to
You gotta get
Costco like
Hold
2
up.
times. They don't even build them near the transit.
Wait, so I know you I know you are in BC
Yeah.
and you live in BC,
Yeah.
but you don't own a car.
No. I haven't driven a car since 2006.
But you know how to drive one, you just don't. You just
I don't know if I know how
prefer a
anymore.
bike.
I'm not going to do trial and error to figure out
Want to take
either.
the Jeep for a rip?
Yeah.
is it a green decision or just like I don't need
It's-
it? Like
yeah, it is partially a green decision. And also I don't need it. But it's cars, like you get used to it, but it's a pain in the ass having a car. Like, if imagine not having to deal with accidents ever, breakdowns ever, insurance garbage. Like I get a flat tire on my bike, it's $20.
But what happens if you want to go to Costco?
No, but you can't. So like certain aspects of the world are closed to you.
Closed,
right?
yeah.
But you get used to it. I've only used transit for the last whatever that is, 15 years, and that's kind of just my lifestyle at this point. So yeah, it's
All
it's
right.
partially a green thing.
Kudos
It's
to
also it saves you money, and
Healthier?
yeah, well, yeah.
I'll challenge you on the fact that you said that there's no Costco near SkyTrain. I'm pretty
Dun, dun.
sure there's one by Lake City.
Oh, I don't take that line. So
Wait,
Oh, that's the bad line. You
Yeah.
don't take that line.
well, that's like Burquitlam.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
like,
Is it?
yeah,
that's
I'm never really up that way.
interesting. Do you? Because you're a city liver too, right? Michelle, you live in the city.
No.
Oh, you don't? Are you in the suburbs?
Yeah.
All right. So you got a car and you drive to Costco.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm not unusual being surprised when Michael says he doesn't.
Mhm.
So that's 2 things you surprised me with today. Because the other thing was you're a pianist.
Yes.
That's how you say it.
That's how you say it. That's,
I-
you really
I-
want to enunciate that one.
Yeah.
Yes. A pianist.
Yeah.
So you play piano.
Well, yeah, but not, I'm not great, but I have a digital piano at home and, I've been
Everybody
messing
needs a
around with
hobby.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Just for all the viewers at home, it's like we're in the studio, the Pineapple Sound studio. Shout out to Pineapple Sound. Woo! Those guys, they have it's a Steinway
Yeah.
grand
Model D,
piano.
Yeah. It's as good as it gets. Yeah.
Yeah, as good as it gets, like the top-notch quality
Mhm.
sort of stuff. And I think you were afraid to touch it when you.
Oh,
just-
I asked whether I could touch it because I wasn't sure if it was just like,
For sure.
the China that nobody
Mhm.
actually
Yeah.
uses, right? So I was like, wow, this is incredible.
Did it
But,
feel good? Like, does it feel better than like
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
Yamaha keyboard that you have at home?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the weighting is all different, but it's the sound. Like it's just like the tinkle of the higher keys is just different. The like growliness of the lower keys is just different. Like it's hard to put into words, but like Steinway is like the top kind of piano you can get, basically. Yeah.
It's
Have you
9
ever-
feet of magic.
Mm.
Yeah. So you haven't done any performances? Is this all just hey, I need to relax on the weekend. I'm gonna just
Yeah.
bang out
it's-
some tunes.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a hobby, but I write songs just basically for myself, my own
I gotta say,
entertainment.
In my own head, I am thinking of the sound from Friends that Ross plays.
Oh yeah.
It's like
No.
it's not like that.
Well, I'm gonna shock you. I'm gonna shock you again. I don't have a TV either.
Oh
So-
my god, you don't have a TV
Nice.
either?
Yeah. So
Don't tell me you don't have net. Don't please say you have Netflix.
no, I don't have Netflix.
That's two.
Do you have a
people-
VCR?
Do you have a VCR?
Well, with no TV.
Well, he doesn't have a TV.
Oh yeah, you don't have a TV.
no.
But we're more alike
yeah.
than because I was talking just like last episode about how I just got this new VCR and I was real pumped about it and they were laughing and
We were like
This
this
horror.
is what's
like,
up.
Yeah.
You don't need TV.
No, you don't need TV. You know, you get used to things, right? Like when I go visit somebody and they've got a TV, even just the ads are so aggravating if you're not used to it. But you get used to that kind of stuff.
You too.
But-
You do.
Yeah, but it's you know, that's actually one big reason I don't have a TV. And I remember I sound like my grandpa. he would mute the ads every time, and I thought that's weird behavior. But now I'm kind of like that myself. It's just yeah, I don't really like the idea of every 10 minutes someone's trying to sell you something. This is kind of why
oh, yeah,
I'm kind
that
of like
is-
our customers getting sick of
That is
folks
true.
trying to sell them
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, no, I'm just not too into TV. I like movies.
Yeah,
So you're not governed by electronics, basically.
Yeah,
It's
I
good.
kind of go home, read. I have the internet, so I'm not like under a rock. But I don't know. You just get used to not having a TV. Like it feels natural after a while.
You know what? I've been spending this whole time trying to humanize you more, and now you're humanizing yourself less by saying, "I'm not like the rest of you TV watchers and car drivers. I much prefer my
Yeah,
bicycle
sorry.
and my books and my
Yeah.
reports."
Hey, well, that's a good experiment. How many of our listeners have
Yeah,
TVs
that's a
or
good
don't
point.
have cable?
Uh-huh.
Comment
Yeah.
below.
How many people actually don't have cable? I'd be interested to know that answer because I have an abundance of entertainment options, and in fact, it's too much. And I have said to my wife, and said, "Look, we don't even really watch the TV anymore, but
Yeah.
we have it."
Mhm.
I'm like, let's just get rid of it and we'll stick to the streaming services. Let's cut the cord and all that. But as soon as they have all her shows on one streaming platform, we will cut. But until they are, like,
You can't.
you
Yeah.
gotta have Survivor and your Housewives of whatever, and The Bachelorette.
Oh, she's really into the reality
Oh,
TV
loves
shows,
it so
eh?
much, so much.
You know,
And
I heard about
cannot
this-
stand it. I cannot because I feel like it's so obviously fake that like for some reason they're arguing again every single episode. We're going to argue and get into some drama.
I'm not big for reality TV. I did hear about one that I think maybe I would watch once, and I heard about it from a comedian, and it's a British reality TV show, and it's called Naked Attraction.
Oh my god!
And it's the whole
Would be
premise.
British.
The whole premise. I'm not going to get into it too much. The whole premise of the show is you're either like a man or a woman or whatever you want to identify as, and you go on the show and you're looking for love. You're looking
I'm
for
looking for
love, but you're
love.
looking to see
The naked
the true
truth.
version of the person, just bared down to the soul
Mm.
and also naked. And there'll be like 5 people that you can choose from, and they're in tubes, okay? And then there's like a big shield in front of them, and then they start lifting the tube from the
Yeah.
feet up.
Oh, those are some good calves. I'm going
Ah,
to keep number 1 and
so
number 3.
They'll just go up to, I don't know, like the knees or something, and then you're like, they say like, oh, ask them some questions, but this person's literally just judging their feet at
Yeah,
this
yeah.
point. Like, let's be real. And then from there, it just keeps going up.
Oh my god.
And then
Well,
at the end, that person looking for love has to also come out in the nude. And then the person they chose has to choose them back.
So like a new Tinder.
Yep. Super weird.
Mhm.
And I haven't seen it, but
Sounds like you know an awful lot about it for
no,
someone who
there's
hasn't seen it.
there's
Though.
this comedian that went off, and she's really funny. And then she was like, she also identifies as a lesbian, and so she was like, never seen that many willies before.
These British shows. Can't trust it.
This
I would say
doesn't make
this.
me want a TV.
I want to go back a little bit because you talked a little bit about bargaining and how, over multiple years, people obviously bargain for a better pension, and over years, like it's been built over the decades. Like a lot of people are asking the same questions, like, what are we bargaining for? What is, what's in our bargaining proposals? And I mean, I've said to them, we obviously can't give away the strategy here. I mean, it's a bad idea, but like, what can people do though? Because it feels like they want to do something.
Yeah, what can we do?
Yeah, what can they do?
What can we
Like,
do?
What are the things that people can do to contribute to a better agreement? Because ultimately, if we all stick together and we all do things together as one, we will get a better agreement. But right now, I think people feel a little bit lost. And it's not through lack of trying and communicating. But things like the sales petition, I don't feel like people understand the relation between what the sales petition is and why that affects bargaining. Or does it? Maybe it doesn't. But
No, it does. So, I mean, the sales petition is what it is. It's a call to the company to change its ways regarding high pressure sales, right? So that's one aspect of it. And it's definitely getting the company's attention. We know that from discussions happening with the company. But the subtext to that is any campaign that members or any union activity at all that a lot of members end up participating in, more and more participating in, shows the company that we're coming together, we're in communication with each other, we're organized. We, when the union is pointing the way on some issue, there's traction there and there's folks participating. That scares the company. That lets the company know that we are truly getting organized, that members are not looking to the company for their guidance or to improve their work lives, because that trust relationship is breaking constantly, and that they're increasingly looking to the union as having their back, as being their true advocate, right? So whether it is attending unit meetings, whether it is filling out a survey that we put out, whether it is signing onto a petition, whether it's any future campaign that we're going to have through bargaining or for whatever other reason, just participating, just encouraging your coworkers to participate, getting it out there and visible that we're all moving in the same direction at once, and that we're all willing to advocate not only for ourselves but for one another on any particular issue. The company notices that. They're watching.
They're attaching some sort of math to it and saying,
oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a solid flex, right? For all the youths out there. You gotta flex sometimes. Let them know what you can do.
That's right. I wouldn't have phrased it that way. But that is exactly right. That is exactly right.
Just trying to stay hip.
Just trying to stay relevant to our younger people of the audience.
Trying to hit the different demographics. That's good.
The TikTokers out there, if you will.
But yeah, they're the company tracks everything, and
Yes,
they know that they need to be able to read the strength of the union to know how aggressive they can be in bargaining, right? If they perceive weakness, then they will come after us hard. If they perceive strength, then they have to get real. There's a good example of that is actually how the high pressure sales petition has developed. At first, the company, I can't get into too many details about behind the scenes sort of conversations, but right when we released that, the company was really pissed at the union leadership. They let us know that, and they were being very aggressive with us, and I can't get into a lot of details, but anyway, and that was before it really took off and started to become as successful and generate the participation that it ended up doing. After it became clear that we were getting 1,000 signatures, 2,000 signatures, like a significant portion of the membership was signing a friggin' petition calling on their employer to change its ways, which is a pretty aggressive thing, right? Demonstrates a pretty big problem at work. Then the company called us up and asked us for a meeting on the issue.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, to explore the nature of our concerns and such. So anyway, it's kind of something that's going on in the background. We did have a meeting, and that's moving forward. We've committed to having a succession of meetings, but the only thing that changed from point A to point B was that at point A, the company didn't see how strong
Right.
we could support this issue. And then when
And how we
then
can
when
stick together
yeah.
on the issue.
and then when they did, it caused them to change their tune. That's the story of bargaining.
Collective action at work.
That's
Yeah.
solidarity. That's
Yeah.
what it is about.
Yeah, like if people think that the company is going to be easier on us if they're not as gung ho about bargaining, it's the opposite. The company is going to be aggressive to the point of what they feel that they can get away with. We have to show them that they can't get away with being as aggressive to us as they've been in previous rounds. And the way to do that is through collective action. It's exactly what a union is about. So getting back to the question about what we can do as members to help out the local. Stay in touch with the local. Make sure that you're getting and reading
Text message,
communications,
website,
yep.
email, Puma captains,
Mhm.
shop stewards, go to meetings.
Yeah.
And just have the conversations, I think, with even the people that aren't attending the union meetings currently, but like bring up like, oh, I heard this where were you last night? I heard this. Did you hear about this? And just have those conversations, and you can
Mm-hmm.
entice more people.
Yeah. And then the second thing, assuming that everybody has their communication channels open, is when the union has a plan, has a campaign, has an action that we're asking folks to participate in, participate, right?
Trust the
even-
union that there's a reason they're asking you to do something.
Yes, even if sales aren't a problem for you personally, support your brothers and sisters. Sign the petition.
Yep.
Yeah.
Even if you've got we're also exhausted after work. It's hard to even generate the energy to oh yeah, I'm gonna go to a union meeting. I'm gonna look up this read the magazine or whatever. But participating in that way is going to help change our workplaces so that they aren't as stressful as they currently are, so that we're not as burnt out. It's not an excuse. Being burnt out isn't an excuse to not fight being burnt out, right?
Mhm.
Getting exploited by the company isn't an excuse to not fight back against that exploitation, right? We have to generate the morale, the energy to, even after a shitty day, go to that unit meeting, participate in that campaign, do what you can do so that eventually you're not going to be dreading coming to work, or you're not going to feel like your work drains your energy and you can't wait to get out of there, right? We can change the way that our work feels, but it's going to take collective action, right?
And we demonstrated that. And there's no other example clearer right now to me than the sales petition and how it moved the needle, and how there's now a conversation, at least a dialogue is open,
Mhm.
right?
There's a lot of upset people about the sales thing. Like I've talked to the majority, like other techs or people I talk to, don't really like the job anymore because of that.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of people who used to be like, yeah, this is gonna be my career forever, to maybe not.
Well, here's the thing. Imagine you getting a job as a technician. I like to turn screwdrivers and cut things and do wiring and stuff. And then all of a sudden, actually, that is actually your secondary part of your job now.
Yeah.
With the primary being your sales.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing. Some people go into that work because it's they're not,
'Cause you
maybe
don't wanna do
people.
sales.
Yeah, they don't want to do
Exactly.
sales. They want to do something tangible, working with their hands, something that they can point to at the end of the day, saying, "I did that," right?
Or
Yeah.
they want to help people and they're good at mediating, or the kind of work that Michelle and her crew is
Exactly.
doing, and you probably didn't go into that either thinking it was going to be sales focused.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a loaded question. So, what got you into the job that you're in now? Go on, Michelle. You go first.
Money, honestly, right?
Yeah.
I have 3 kids. I needed to have a good job that had good benefits, right? I was the breadwinner in my family, and I had worked in call centers before, for an automotive company. I'd worked there for 6 years. So going into this role, right, with this company, it was a lot easier actually than what I was doing before, but it paid way more. And obviously, because we're unionized, but that's why.
You can thank the union for that. A lot of people think,
Exactly.
Telus is a great place to work. They give me great benefits. They pay me well. It's who negotiated that for you?
Mhm.
Because I can guarantee you a non-unionized call center, Like, I mean, you used to work for one, right? Like you can
Oh my
tell.
God. It was like, I was there for 5 years, and this is a big company, right? They've got money. And I started at $13.75. And after 5 or 6 years, I was at like $14.10.
Wow.
Like,
So, huge pay increase
that-
there.
Yeah, like that was it, right? So, and then coming and pretty much making double, right? At another call center was amazing.
Yeah. For me, it was
Yeah.
it was like I was in the similar boat. I just had a family, just started a family, and what attracted me was the benefits, and the pay was more. And I was working as a technical person in a photo lab. Used to be a photographer back in the day, and so for me it was a I can't live in Vancouver on the wage I'm earning, so you need to look for another job. And a friend of mine suggested the company, and so I naturally went for it. And 10 years later, here I am on this microphone talking to you lovely people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's maybe 12 years later. So how about you?
Yeah, I mean,
Let's face it, it all really boils down to the benefits and the money.
It
Does it
does.
not?
Mhm.
Am I not wrong?
yeah,
But
Yeah.
union wages and benefits, right? Like unionized wages and benefits.
yes.
For all
I'm-
those people who are not unionized, this is something you need to.
for
think
me,
of.
right? Like I've done a lot of jobs, like a lot. I've tried a lot of different fields, and I just wanted something that was more stable. I didn't want to do compressed shift work anymore. I didn't want to have to work multiple jobs anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to have to work out of town anymore. I wanted something that had longevity, decent wage. Like, nobody's paying for me but me. No one's going to look after me if I don't have a good job
And a good pension.
and a good pension. Like, you know what I mean? So looking at the company that we work for, right off the bat, good reputation for benefits, taking care of the employees because they're union. It's something that I could get out in the field, which I like field work. I tend to wilt in an office. It's not an environment that I can enjoy long term. I can get the job done, but it's not. I'll be moving on in a couple months. You know what I mean?
What do you think about it now, though? Do you feel
I
the
still
same?
enjoy the work because I like working with my hands, and I like going to different places all the time, having variety, a little spice, but helping people. I take pride in my work because I do the job right,
Mm-hmm.
and then I know that those people are taken care of, and that's something that I enjoy, and that's another reason why I enjoy being part of the union. Right? I want to know that the people around me, it's inclusive, they're taken care of. Those are things that make me happy. So that's why I'm still probably here, because it is still a competitive wage somewhat to other opportunities out there. But we definitely need our bargaining to keep that.
In line
relevant.
with the current
And I
inflation
think
rate.
something that I try to follow in my life, like a motto that I have, is like, apathy is the enemy.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
so difficult sometimes to not be apathetic. Like,
Mm-hmm.
always try to remind myself, apathy is the enemy. You got to give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you don't, no one gives a shit.
Mhm.
It's.
Yeah.
I mean, we had talked about this personally about this, and it's how there's a feeling of apathy in the world, right? Whereas I can't make a difference,
Mhm.
but if one person, it's like infectious. If one person demonstrate that they're trying, and then that naturally leads to other people feeling the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how our unions work. For we
It's
had
like
this dark
ripples.
period of time
Mhm.
where nobody was doing anything,
Yeah.
and it was like, oh well, whatever then.
Yeah.
But now I feel like there's definitely been a perspective change. There's been a shift,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we've definitely grown momentum. I mean, this podcast is a perfect example, right? It's forward thinking. It's trying something new.
Mm-hmm.
And if people can see this and demonstrate that other people give a shit, other people feel like I do,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of pushes them. Well, maybe I will do something. I'll attend this meeting, or I'll
Mhm.
go over here and do this.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't think that anybody else is going to come to a meeting, you're not going to come to the meeting.
Totally.
If you
Right.
don't think that anybody else is going to sign a petition, you're not going to sign a petition, right? So you've got this sort of inertia of apathy where, everybody kind of looking at each other not doing stuff makes everybody else want to not do stuff. And we've had that going back for a few years, and it's just starting to, it's basically transitioning now away from that. But, we've had a couple of rounds that were not successful in bargaining, quite not successful. And, you get that inertia of people thinking, well, what's the union doing for me because I keep getting these
Exactly,
shitty
yeah.
agreements. Or,
Yeah.
any collective agreement is better than no collective agreement, but people are looking at these concessions. And but we need to and we are transitioning to a situation where people know that they can sign a petition because everybody else that they know is gonna sign it. They are gonna come to a unit meeting because their buddy and their other buddy and their other buddy are coming to the unit meeting, and pretty soon you end up with a situation where you don't want to be the one that's left out. You don't want to be the one that didn't show up at the meeting. You don't want to be the one in your work group that didn't sign the petition, right?
Right.
So there's kind of a inertia on the positive side at some point where people are participating because they know everybody else is going to participate, right? So the whole trick is getting from that one situation to the other situation. And we're in I think a really exciting time right now where
Exactly,
in my opinion, and there's metrics to bear this out, every time we are transitioning from that apathy kind of inertia situation to having a really activated, organized membership. We can see that with every campaign that we're launching. We're getting more and more participation. Our unit meetings are getting more and more participation. Just the attitude of members is very much more optimistic than in the past.
Previous rounds, yes, agreed.
Yeah. Like it's not like, another bargaining round. What are we going to lose this time? It's like, hey, what are we going to do, guys? How can I help?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're getting that vibe at the union office to a degree that I haven't seen.
And you've been working there for 10 years, right?
No, I've been like a salaried officer, like full time for 4 years,
Okay.
but I've been an activist since 2009. And it's always been kind of kicking the dirt, dejected sort of attitude, on, in general, and that is changing.
It's a paradigm shift of attitude,
Yeah,
and that's something I'm excited for. It's exciting times.
It's
Well,
it is, and it's also, I think we've never been able to communicate so instantaneously
Mhm.
before, and we've got things like this podcast, and we've got things like Slack, and we've got things like the
Zoom unit
the
meetings,
dub, the digital union
The digital
board.
union board.
digital union, the dub. Are we calling it? We
We
can't.
should call it the dub. The dub's awesome.
yeah.
I know,
like
but
it.
somebody's going to start calling it dumb. The dub. Or the
Dub at the dub.
No, I like the dub.
Rub a dub. Let's get on the dub. I don't know.
It's also like, I feel like a lot of people think you need to do more than you need to do to be a
Yes.
benefit, right? Like
Yeah.
it's way better to have everybody doing a little bit than to have a handful of people doing everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right?
So
Yes.
yeah, even if you just did like, oh, I'm just going to go to the union
Yeah,
meeting.
Yeah.
Zoom in, hop
Oh,
in a Zoom call.
So that's a
That's
great
it.
example. Like people keep asking like what can you do or what can they do to help? If everybody went to a unit meeting, the company would get
Start
wind of it.
freaking
and-
out.
Oh, they would start freaking out. We could have like a hopscotch tournament, and if everybody showed up, the company would freak out. It doesn't
Yeah.
really matter.
What it is.
Yeah. It proves that we're connected. It proves that people are caring. It proves that they're willing to all do the same thing at the same time, which is, down the road, the ultimate of that is potentially a dispute, right? And nobody
Right.
wants a dispute. But
Mm.
all these things demonstrate our power for what's going to happen if things really go in the ditch, if the company really starts to, play rough with us, and we know that we're stronger than to have to lay down for that, right? We're ramping up that kind of activity, month after month, leading into bargaining, and any call for action that we put out, whether it's a come to a unit meeting, sign this petition, wear this sticker, whatever. If everybody was doing that, the company would notice, and you would get a better collective agreement, and you would have a better work life. So
Yeah.
it's not about
Yeah.
really sticking your neck out, pounding the table at a small team meeting and anything that's like super risky. Although I think we've all done that.
I think we all have. Yeah.
But if we all just do our symbolic,
Gestures together.
Yeah, show we're listening.
Support
And-
the
Yeah, show
bargaining
you're
unit.
listening. That's
Yeah.
perfect. Perfect. Well
Yeah.
done. So, a question that came up to me the other day is how to check if you're RAND, right? So, RAND members, if you don't already know what a RAND member is, it's someone who pays in. They still have to pay because everybody benefits from our collective agreement, so everybody still has to pay. But you might not necessarily be the card carrying, able to vote member that you think you are.
Mhm.
And so, how do people check if they're RAND or not? Is there a way to
Yeah.
do that?
Probably the easiest way to check if you're a RAND or a full-fledged union member, if and there is any confusion about that, is to email the union office at our general mailbox, which is contact@usw1944.ca.
Let's put that link in the bottom there.
So you just email us and say, hey, did I ever sign an application? Am I a member? I signed a whole bunch of stuff when I got hired.
Yeah, right.
Am I a member or not? And we'll let you know. But yeah, there's really no excuse not to be a fully fledged member of the local because you are paying dues.
Yeah.
And so why wouldn't you want to vote on whether there's a dispute or whether
Or maybe the upcoming contract.
yeah
Maybe you want to vote on that, say yes, we want, or no, I don't want.
And
Surely
like you're
you-
saying, right? You're paying either way.
Mhm.
Get
Mhm.
your bloody money's worth.
Yeah,
Exactly.
get your money's worth. That's right.
Yeah. And it helps us communicate with you, right? Because, we don't automatically get everybody's personal email addresses at this time. And so, yeah, if you want to be in the loop, if you want to actually, take a bit more ownership over your work life and you're
Yes.
not sure if you're a union member, then yeah, please contact us at our inbox and make sure that you are in touch with the union by having given us your contact information on a membership form, and make sure that you're fully entitled to all the privileges and rights of union membership.
And the website is Katrina.
USW1944.ca.
There you go. Perfect. So all the information that we ever talk about is on that website. So if you're ever in doubt, go to the website. You'll probably find, and if at least you can't find what you're looking for, you'll be able to find a phone number or an email for someone who will tell you what you're looking for. Well, folks, that brings us to the end of our episode today. Michael, just want to say it's been awesome having you on board today. We certainly learned a lot. I've learned a lot, certainly about the pension stuff, but thank you for coming on board. If anybody needs to get a hold of you in the future, is there any way they can do it? Or probably you don't want people to get a hold of you.
No, I want people to get a hold of me if they have any
okay.
questions about the local or about the pension, anything.
Okay.
So they can call the union office at 604-437-8601.
Down at the bottom there.
They can email me at michael.phillips@usw1944.ca. So Michael, AEL, Phillips with 2 L's. And those are probably the two best ways of getting a hold of me.
Awesome. It's good to know that people can get a hold of you.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I'd like to thank you too. I mean, I got a lot of new information just rattling around up here, and it's good. I like being informed.
Yeah, it was awesome
and it's
being
been
here.
fun. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah, this is a great setup. I love this form of communicating with members. So thanks for all the work that you're putting in.
Well, there's at least 4 people
and
watching
Tyler
you.
as well.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh, yeah. Last time we didn't forget.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tyler. Thank you, Tyler, for coming
Yeah,
on.
no worries. And thanks, Michael, for helping make this even happen. You're
Yeah.
a big part of what helped us get this going. So thanks.
Thanks so much, Michael. It's nice to have you here.
Nice seeing you again, Michelle.
So we're going to say cheers to you, Michael, and cheers to the members. And remember, everybody,
Cheers. Cheers to you.
stay strong as steel.
Strong as
Cheers.
steel.
That's a lot of gigabytes.
Awesome job, guys.
Actually, Michael, we do one thing at the end of every episode, and that
What do
is
we do?
we do a cheers to you, but we also sing a song.
Okay.
And so we're going to sing.
Is that not true? Why are you laughing?
It is true. It's one that we've just started.
Oh, it's like
It's
a
a
tradition
tradition.
starting right now.
Starting last
Tradition
episode.
starting live right now.
Okay.
Okay, I'll bring us in. Are we going to get the music? I can hear it playing in the background now. Yeah, it's coming in. And solidarity forever. Solidarity forever.
Solidarity forever.